everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome back to my Best of Publishers series. In this video, I'm taking a look at the best of Level 99 games. Now, Level 99 is an interesting company in that they're very specific, and I actually like that about companies. I like when a company doesn't just throw everything at the wall. Level 99, if I had to give them a few words to describe them, I would say asymmetrical. If you were playing somebody in one of their games, you're not playing what everyone else has. They have a fantasy, not anime feel, but it kind of tilts in that direction. I'm not sure what the technical term for it is. And they definitely like combat, or me versus you, in most of their games. So here are my top 10 games that I like from Level 99. Number 10 is 7-Card Slugfest. Now this one's a personal one. I like a lot. This one's not ranked nearly as highly by other folks. In this game, you're playing one of their various characters, and they tend to take these characters and jump them from one game to the next. So you'll see characters from this game in another game, and a lot of the games I'm mentioning today have these same characters in them. But this is a speed game in which you're playing cards in different piles. It's supposed to mimic a crazy barroom brawl. So you're just playing cards, all the characters are asymmetrical, then you flip the piles over, reveal the cards one at a time, and see who wins. I love that. I really do. I find it to be very fun and silly. It's not one I want to play all the time, and in fact, not everyone enjoys this one, but I'm amused by, I think, the results of the game even more than the gameplay. So 7-Card Slugfest. Number 9 is from Trey Chambers, who is he likes to throw everything in the kitchen sink in his games, and this is Argent the Consortium. Do you like worker placement and wish there was a zillion places to place your workers? Then this is the game for you. In Argent, you are essentially trying to please some people from a magical college. Now, I wouldn't consider this to be, it's not like a Harry Potter-esque college, but it's the Argent University of Magic. But it's a little bit that way. And so there's all these different counselors there, chancellors, and board members, and you're trying to please them by getting resources and points in various ways. And you do this by placing workers in something that's going to be different in every game. But if you don't think there's enough variety in the game, there's an expansion that adds even more content, which is, whew. I don't want to play this one all the time, but I do like the idea of just this much going on, and it is a fun game, Argent the Consortium. Number 8, also from Trey Chambers, Imperial, Spells, and Steam. Now this is a fantasy train game, but what that means is this is a small train game where you're placing trains on a board, connecting different resources, getting those resources to get points in various ways, with everything in the kitchen sink thrown in. And I mean that, because the box for this is a huge cube. It comes with really gorgeous trains that I've actually got copies of and stuck in some of my Ticket to Ride games. It has special powers, and you can upgrade and get even more special powers, and there's just so much going on. Every game's going to be different. But at its heart, it's a fairly simple, easy to play, and fun game. And that's Imperial, Spells, and Steam. Number 7, weird name here, Bullet Heart. Bullet, I guess there's a sequel coming this year, Bullet Star. But Bullet Heart is a game in which there's a bunch of young ladies all shooting at each other. I think that's the theme of the game, but what it really is, it reminds you of kind of a video game where these things are falling down, these little discs, and you're trying to make them in patterns so that you get to manipulate them and move them around a little bit. You make a certain pattern, it goes out, and you send those at somebody else. You get too many in the same column, you lose a life point. Once you lose your life points, you're out. So there's real quick timed moments in this game, and you're just trying to survive longer than everybody else. It's fun. Odd theme for me. My kids like the theme more than I did. Bullet Heart. Number 6 is Disc Duelers. Again, set in their multiverse, I guess, or whatever their shared universe. The same characters from 7-Card Slugfest show up in Disc Duelers. This is a flicking game, and I do tend to like flicking games, so this one might be on me. But it's a flicking game where you have special powers, and everyone plays differently. That's a lot of fun. Number 5 is it's the most different game on this list. So Level 99 put out a set of a bunch of small games. In fact, they did it twice. But most of those games were okay, and some of them weren't very good at all. But one game in the first series really stood out, Noir, deductive mystery game. And, in fact, it did so well, it was so popular that they printed it by itself in multiple versions. Noir is a 2-player game in which one person is a criminal and the other person is trying to find them amongst a group of suspects. There's several ways to play it, but the most simple one, just trying to figure out, using clues to figure out who the criminal is, and the other person's trying to hide that from you. It's fun, it's interesting, certainly worth checking out. Noir. Number 4 is Cell Swords. Now this game, it's not got a lot of buzz, and it's a small card game with square cards that you're placing down. This reminded me a lot of a card game that was in Final Fantasy VIII, I believe. And it has that same kind of idea as you play these cards down and you're trying to place them to help yourself out and kind of attack the people next to them and win. I've always liked that kind of concept. There's a lot of games that does it. I think Cell Swords does it the best and does it in a very small package. A nice little game. Number 3, though, now we're going to get bigger, is Millennium Blades. Millennium Blades blew my mind when I first heard about it because I was really surprised when it was mentioned as an economic game because it's about a CCG, collectible card game, but not in the way you think. There's a lot of collectible card games out there. Millennium Blades is the only game about being the collector in a collectible card game. And that's what this is. You're in this game, you're buying and selling cards. Packs, but you only keep the rarest card in the pack. And you buy and do this, and you trade with other players. You do all kinds of stuff in this 15-minute time frame, and then you have a deck of cards, and you play against the other players with your deck. Now, the actual playing of the CCG, it's fine. It's good. It's nothing great, but it's a fine game. It's all about acquiring and getting the cards for your deck, the economic part that makes this game so fascinating and so interesting, Millennium Blades. Number 2 is Pixel Tactics. This is another one of their small games that came from their set that also blew up to the point where I think there's like 5 or 6. They're like on, Pixel Tactics number 6. They made a Mega Man version. And what this is you have these cards that you're going to place them in a 3x3 grid in front of you. You start with one as your leader. Then you can place it in the front row, in the middle row, in the back. And depending on where that card is, it's different. So every card has 4 uses. It can be your leader. It can be the front, the middle, the back. 5 uses. Or you can play it as a special card, as a special thing that it does. That's such a neat concept. I don't really care for the pixelized part of it, but it's still neat. And it's a really small little game where I have my grid of 9 against your grid of 9. We're attacking, trying to take out the other person's leader. Every leader seems to have an overpowered special ability, and then you get these cards, and you have the same decks, but the cards come out, and you're going to pick a different spot to put your people. Very cool little game, Pixel Tactics. And my number 1 game from Level 99 is BattleCon. Now, take your choice, BattleCon War of Indines or BattleCon Devastation of Indines. There's several of them out there. They've actually refined the system. There's another fighting card game called Exceed, which I do not like as much, but it's similar to BattleCon. BattleCon is essentially Street Fighter, the card game, or something like that. Again, using some of the same characters you've seen in some of these other games. But when in this game, you have a character, and you're taking 2 cards together and playing those 2 cards. So like Mighty Punch. You play them together, and then you see what happens. It's a very convoluted paper, rock, scissors, which fighting games are in general anyway, and it just works really well. I love how this game comes together, and what's really neat about BattleCon is that every character feels very distinct. One has a pet that's moving around with them. One is just a big giant king running at the opponents. One is a sniper. One has zombies, and they all feel very different. Some of them are harder to use than others, but as far as I can tell, they're fairly well balanced. There's a lot of content in this game. You'll never get bored with it. It's going to take a bit to grasp how it works, but once you do, it's a nice, fine, knife in a phone booth type game that I very much recommend. So those are my 10 favorite games from Level 99. What's yours? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the best of Level 99 on the Dice Tower.